A dramatic showdown is now unfolding on Capitol Hill. Democratic Congressman Khanna says he will force a vote to block U.S. President Donald Trump from launching military strikes on Iran without authorization from Congress, a power the U.S. lawmaker says the Constitution clearly reserves for lawmakers. Khanna announced he will move to discharge a war powers resolution next week, compelling the House to debate and vote before any U.S. troops are put in harm's way. The resolution was first introduced in June 2025 by Republican Congressman Thomas Massie and co-led by Khanna during the 12-day U.S.-Israeli war against Iran. A ceasefire was reached before lawmakers voted, but the measure remains alive and now has 77 co-sponsors, all Democrats. Khanna says the urgency is real. The California congressman says he supports diplomacy with Tehran, but if the White House is preparing airstrikes and if some voices are even floating the possibility of ground troops, then Congress must step in. Khanna compared the moment to the vote before the Iraq War, warning this could be one of the most consequential decisions in modern congressional history. Multiple media reports suggest U.S. strikes on Iran could come within days or weeks. Analysts warn any attack could spark a far broader conflict than the recent 12-day war, and that Iran would not hold back in retaliation. Tens of thousands of American troops are stationed across the Middle East, many within range of Iranian missile systems. Khanna says the stakes could not be higher. For now, the question hangs over Washington. Will Congress assert its constitutional authority, or will the U.S. edge closer to another major war in the Middle East?
The world watches with bated breath as reports suggest that U.S. could launch an attack on Iran as early as February 21. Donald Trump has reportedly been briefed on operational readiness, according to CNN and CBS reports. During the Midnight Hammer operation in June last year, the goal was Iran's nuclear facilities. But this time, the goal has shifted. It is scary and gripped with huge ramifications, poised to send political earthquake across the globe. U.S. President Donald Trump wants a regime change in Iran. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump has received several briefings on his military options should he choose to strike, all of them designed to maximize damage to Iran's regime and its regional proxies. The options include a campaign to kill scores of Iranian political and military leaders with the goal of overthrowing the government, U.S. and foreign officials said, as well as an air attack would be limited to striking targets, including nuclear and ballistic missile facilities. Both would involve a potentially weeks-long operation. A senior Trump administration official told the Wall Street Journal that the U.S. president hasn't yet decided whether to order strikes against Iran. His national security advisors discussed Iran during a meeting in the White House's Situation Room on Wednesday.
Well, there's many reasons and arguments that one could make for a strike against Iran. The president has always been very clear, though, with respect to Iran or any country around the world. Diplomacy is always his first option, and Iran would be very wise to make a deal with President Trump and with this administration. He's talking to many people. Of course, his national security team, first and foremost, and you know who the members of that team are. And this is something, obviously, the president takes seriously.
Since coming back to power for the second time, Donald Trump's leadership has been marked by various displays of force, showing how the United States has increasingly relied on hardline diplomacy toward both adversaries and allies. This time, the scale of military deployment is significant. The US has assembled fighter jets and support aircraft to the Middle East, the greatest amount of air power in the region since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. At the center of the escalating tensions lies the long-running nuclear dispute. Washington and Tehran have held intermittent talks. Discussions in Geneva earlier this week aimed to avert US military intervention, with Iran stating afterwards that both sides had agreed on guiding principles for a deal. Iran is expected to retaliate in the event of an attack. In response to US buildup, Iran has shown its force. On Monday, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, launched a maritime drill in the Strait of Hormuz, located in the Gulf between Oman and Iran. The strait is considered a vital international waterway and oil export route from Gulf Arab states. Iran issued a notice to airmen as it is planning rocket launches in areas across its south on Thursday from 3:30 GMT to 13:30 GMT. Iran's message is also clear. One wrong move and the world will face ripple effects.
There's many reasons and arguments that one could make for a strike against Iran.
The United States could launch military strikes on Iran as soon as Saturday. That stark warning, first reported by CBS News, cites senior national security officials who say President Donald Trump has been told American forces are ready to act within days. But despite the military's readiness, the president has not yet made a final decision. According to officials speaking on condition of anonymity, conversations inside the White House are fluid and ongoing, with risks of escalation being weighed against the consequences of restraint. Sources say top advisors have presented options for strikes that could begin as early as Saturday, though the timeline may ultimately extend beyond the weekend. Behind the scenes, the Pentagon is already repositioning personnel across the Middle East. Multiple officials confirm that some American personnel are being temporarily relocated to Europe or back to the United States as a precautionary measure. The move is designed to protect U.S. forces in the event Iran retaliates if strikes are authorized. One official stressed that shifting assets before potential military activity is standard Pentagon practice and does not automatically signal that an attack is imminent. Still, the optics are unmistakable. The USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group is already operating in the region. A second carrier group, led by the USS Gerald R. Ford, is en route to the Middle East. As of Wednesday, maritime tracking data placed the Ford off the coast of West Africa, moving steadily toward theater. The show of force has not gone unnoticed in Tehran. Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, posted an AI-generated image depicting the Ford resting on the ocean floor. In a message shared on X, Khamenei warned that while American warships are dangerous, more dangerous still are the weapons capable of sending them to the bottom of the sea.